Yeah, man. So we're gonna welcome everybody to episode number 1 of Black Wealth Matters podcast.
Episode number
What?
Numero uno. I'll introduce myself. I go by the name PJ. Now,
I'm D.
Okay. D.
I'm Bang.
So we have your 3 hosts, co-hosts for this podcast, which is about really. I'll let Bangs explain it because Black Wealth Matters was not my thing. It was his brand that I kind of came on board. So yeah. Even just kick it off by just giving the people a little introduction on premise.
I think you wet your whistle.
I can give an introduction, but don't we need to give people a second to come into the room, or are we just going?
Come into the room.
No, because we
Come.
Okay, so we just continue.
We're on YouTube, so
Alright.
the live. So y'all know what he was asking about. We're live on Facebook under the Black Wealth Matters group. You have to request to join.
Yes, sir.
So that's where we live
Yes, sir.
now. But we're also doing, we're YouTube in IGTV section of it. So
And I
it's
want
like
to say
live.
something about the the Facebook group too, the Black Wealth Matters. We got a couple of people that's requesting to be in our group, but they won't fill out the questionnaire. You're not getting in the group if you don't fill out the questionnaire.
You got to
Is
do
it-
the work to
is
get
it-
the work.
it's
Do the
important
work
for us
to
to-
get that work.
We
Feel
want to know
I'm
what
saying?
your stance is, be it for it or against it. It really don't matter, but we just want to know what your stance is. So you won't get your request fulfilled if you don't fill out the questionnaire.
It's important. 'Cause
Period, Pooh.
The point of the group is to provide value. So if y'all don't help us to know where you stand, then we can't ensure that we can provide value. So that's the significance.
You got to help us help you.
Big fact.
Help us help you.
Big
I
fact.
like that.
Yeah, you feel what I'm saying? So the explanation of Black Wealth Matters, I'm gonna be short with it. I won't be long. We're gonna get into this discussion about this $200. So basically, Black Wealth Matters is not necessarily 100% a brand, but it's a movement, and the movement consists of the thought process of the African American families and individuals and their stances when it comes to financial literacy or actual financial mannerism in the United States of America. So basically, if you don't know, or if you do know, the statistics of the African American, be it though male, female, or family member, is that we spend more than we save. That's just basically what it is. It boils down to that. We
But,
spend
like, what's the
more than
number?
we save.
Be-
I mean, it's just basically that. I won't get into the numbers of the statistics right now.
I like the number.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the statistics of the numbers right now, but I'm just saying the base is that we spend more than we save, and we spend more than we save horribly. Period. Point
No,
blank.
we put more money into other communities than we keep in our own. We funnel more money through other communities than we even attempt to funnel through our own, or that we even attempt to keep in our own backyards, or that we even attempt to keep putting up for our own kids. We got their kids and grandkids rich, while our kids and grandkids they ain't even got an insurance policy to take out from us. Let's just be for real about it.
Instead of you leaving your children with assets, you actually wind up leaving them with bills.
Why they can't inherit? Why they can't inherit the boat?
Yeah.
I got a property in Manhattan that my great uncle left to me that I never even met. Why we don't get those types of stories?
Exactly.
And the stuff that they're talking about, I'm pretty sure everybody that grew up in impoverished communities can relate to it. And so we want to first make us all be aware of these problems and admit that there are problems that exist, and then provide the solutions to everybody that's watching on how we can correct this problem united, because that's the only way we're going to be able to do it.
And to be honest with you, impoverished communities and all communities, like Dave Chappelle said something that I thought was very hilarious, but it was so true. He said his parents made just enough money so they can grow up poor around white people.
Come on.
It happens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You go to a better community to live better and to do better, and then you are the poor individual in those communities.
But that's sort of kind of like,
we moved to Billwood.
but
in
right, but it's sort of kind of like
1985 or whatever it was.
the big fish in the little pond. So if you the big fish in the little pond, then you rich in the poor people neighborhood. But then if you a little fish in the big pond, then you the poor people in the rich neighborhood.
Or you the shortest bitch.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm good.
So that's what the group is about. That's what the podcast is about. Today's particular discussion is about $200.
200.
So
They
this is
don't piss me
this
off.
is where
I got you.
200.
So without mentioning why the
Thank
flights
you.
are so low,
Thank you.
in today's climate, flights are low.
Flights are damn near nothing.
Nothing,
Nothing.
and hotel fees and
Damn near
Airbnbs and
nothing.
stuff like that. So we were discussing that a flight to Paris
I
is
see
$200
somebody over there
right
typing
now.
the reason why.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick her butt.
I'm just editing y'all stuff.
But a flight to Paris is $200 right now. So I was saying that if I was suggesting to people that if they had $200 to go experience going out of the country and going to Paris, because that will change their life. Bangs disagreed with how that $200 should be spent. He
I
said-
didn't disagree.
You did.
You
I
did.
didn't-
Strongly disagree.
I didn't disagree. What I said was
That
that
me and PJ was stupid.
I said
that we
no,
did.
that's not what I said. What I said was I was speaking from a different part of the spectrum. And the different part of the spectrum is this. These two always talk about going abroad, going overseas, experiencing the third world countries, and coming back home with a new insight
Of
and
who you
intellect
are.
of who you are and
What
how
other
you
cultures
should
offer.
appreciate or undervalue whatever it is where you come from and so forth and so on. And what I was saying is everybody does not have that mindset. So per se, you have particular individuals that would say, well, why would I spend $200 to go on a trip to Paris when I could spend $200 on getting them new Jordans that's coming out that I've been waiting on for 2 years? Or when I could spend $200 putting a radio in my car that I want to listen to my
Now,
music going
which
down
one
the
of those two ways are more rewarding? Going to
And
spend
you can't say what's more rewarding for the individual.
But here it is. Now, put a pin in there. Message. This is what it is. Like, seriously, because you're talking about generational wealth, right? And what PJ's introduction was about how, as a whole, we turn this entire thing around, correct? So, again, it goes back into deprogramming, because if my mindset is that I would rather spend $200 on a pair of Jordans than taking that $200 and investing it in a CD or in something for my children or my children's children.
Well, now you're talking different.
Well,
See, that's
here's the
diff-
thing.
that's
No,
diff- that's
wait,
complete-
because
that's
it's all
completely-
tying back to what you were saying. It
that's-
is.
that's
You
completely
saying,
different
I
than
want to
going
buy
on
the
a
Jordans,
trip.
or I want to buy,
That's
or I
completely
want to
different
buy
than going on a trip.
The
because
house.
I'm
Completely
buying a
different.
life experience right now. I'm buying a mental.
You could buy a rock and
I'm
have a
ba-
life experience. You could smoke a rock and have a life experience for less than $200. That's all I'm saying.
I quit, G. I quit. So this is the issue. No, that's not at all what I'm saying. What
You
I'm
said
saying,
you're paying for a life experience.
You are changing-
I'm
you're
just saying
paying
you
for
get a
life
life
changing
experience
experience.
from
okay,
anywhere.
a positive life changing.
You get a life
This is
changing
exactly-
experience from anywhere.
You're such a jerk. Hold on and wait a minute.
Positive
No,
life
because he can't do this to me. This is exactly what it is that I'm saying. Before I left, and I was expressing to them, before I left to spend some time in Europe, I was a pretty kind of like shallow-minded type of individual. So I carried name brand bags. I wore name brand shoes. That was the thing for me. Like all of my makeup, well, yeah, all my makeup still do come from a particular place, which shall remain nameless because they don't get no tags in this post. But I, when I got over there, and the things that I had packed to take over there with me, and I lived there for 4 months, and never did I ever use anything that I took over there. None of the heels, none of the purses, none of the shoes, nothing that I took over there. Joe, I wore Crocs every day. I wore shirts that probably didn't match the shorts that I had on. I bought a €3 bag that I had strapped around my body every time I went outside. And that was my everyday. I lived in the mountain. I walked up and down this mountain. I was able to come into a humble place, a place of humility.
That was you.
But the thing is, to see the
That's not for
lifestyles of
everybody.
different
Well, I
people,
feel
it's
like-
not for everybody, but it's still an
I
experience.
feel like I agree that everybody won't change because of the experience
Everybody
the same
wants-
way,
yeah.
but they will be changed because
In
of
a
the
way.
experience.
I agree. I agree.
Encounter a person. I haven't encountered a person that goes abroad that doesn't
Come back the same way.
come.
You can't
come
tell
back
me,
the-
Joe, that you've been in the Holy City your whole life. You've been on 16th and Costner your whole life. That's the only thing you know. And
when I
then
was
you
younger,
leave.
When I was younger.
When you leave, okay, let me.
When I
Okay,
was younger.
I was born in Henry Horner.
When I was younger,
Come on.
sometimes I didn't have many friends. So I would get on a plane and I would go places. And I would be gone for long periods of time, sometimes a week, sometimes 2 weeks, or what have you. I used to get on a plane, go to Jamaica. I used to get on a plane and go to any place that I thought was somewhere I needed to go and experience. Now, I didn't go...
Is that the lifestyle of an impoverished person?
Ma'am, I didn't say I was impoverished. I was impoverished in the mind because I had money and didn't know what to do with it. So being in poverty don't necessarily mean that you don't have. It don't necessarily mean that your pockets are empty. It just means that you may be a person that might not have the education or the know-how of what to do with your money. And the thing is with money is to have your money make money. They call it keeping your money pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
That's not anything that we do as African Americans. We usually spend it until it's gone and then try to figure out how to fill it up all over again.
We
Yeah,
spend
I
that
mean,
in the seed money. We
because-
eat it all up.
I guess this discussion became because we were talking about income tax time. That's where the whole $200 even came.
Exactly. Which I don't get no income taxes. I can't
Me
even remember
either.
the last time I got no income
Me
tax.
either. I don't even
So-
play
As
with
they
it.
call it, the Black Christmas.
So if you get
Oh, I used to
that
call it being
blessing,
hood rich.
if you get that blessing this year, make it the year that you, if you haven't already spent it, that you decide to put it aside till you figure out a good place to actually invest it. So that's to me what I'm hoping that people kind of get out of this.
Get back
um,
to your business.
Yeah.
Or circulate it in the black community.
Because that's what I did.
Okay.
We got
Okay.
a young lady behind the cameras. She's awesome young lady. And what she did say is that with her income tax money, she invested in herself, but she circulated her investments back and funneled them back through the black community by means of using black businesses as her outlets
And
for her resources. Excuse me.
let's embellish.
I'm not embellishing nothing.
Okay. Well, let's take away the word embellish. Let's take it to the street
Expound.
then. Let's build on that. You know what I'm
Build
saying?
on
Let's
that.
build on that.
I
Build
think
on
you've been
it.
exaggerated a little bit. Right?
Exaggerate is a
Well,
lie.
not necessarily.
Expound.
Exactly. We're gonna build on it. Expound is expound. I'll take that one.
Grow on
So
it.
so let's expound on that. And with expounding on that,
Yeah.
circulating the black dollar or circulating the African American dollar or circulating the minority dollar,
Minority dollar.
whatever you want to call
I
it.
like to call it the minority dollar.
It's not necessarily 100% shopping with black businesses. So,
Do tell us why.
I'm gonna tell you why. So, you have individuals that may have ideas that may need to be invested in. One of my things that I think will fix some of the problems that we have, I think if you find loved ones and friends that have businesses and have ideas that could bring money or add value, as PJ says, invest in those things and support those things. And even if those things are not 100% successful, you at least purchase that particular individual with a game plan to either come into the game and fail and start something else, or use their documentation or their demographics to build something bigger and better than what it is that they started. So, for instance, I started a print company on accident. I didn't do it on purpose. I did it on accident.
Talking about
I started out with I was a record producer, and
he produced for me, and I was a rapper, and I recorded.
and that's what I did. I produced records, and I was all about music.
But it wasn't no music.
In the interim, when it came time to, and we actually need to do something called After the Studio. But however, in the interim, after the studio, there was another phase, which is called marketing, promotion, and things that people normally miss because they always spend their time trying to come up with these great records or these dope songs.
Dopest thing you ever
But
seen.
it's the dopest record you ever heard.
Okay.
You never heard, as they say, the dopest record you never
working.
heard.
We don't stop people from getting no money.
So basically, after that, you have to go into a process of getting the record to the people, getting it on a platform so people can be exposed to it. And in those times, which is different now, but in those times, you know, you had to have flyers, you had to have posters, you had to have banners.
You had to sell
You
records.
you had to sell records, actually physical
Yeah.
records. Your mechanical rights came into play. Your royalties came into play. Everything came into play in that particular process. So, with that being said, I needed the print for myself and figured out how I could do it at the cheapest rate. And basically, make a long story short, I wound up acquiring machinery after machinery to do certain things for myself, and just wound up doing it for other people, and found out that it was something that actually, what's that word? When something adds on to what you're doing already. Compliments. It actually complemented my creativity.
Yeah. So what's the word? Expound.
Expound.
Okay. So
I'm the dictionary.
just so you know,
call me Webster.
I got expelled from high school in my 9th grade. So the big words.
11th grade for me.
So there you go.
11th grade.
But with that, even that's not gonna be a lesson to it. It don't have to stop you from being an entrepreneur.
Jesus.
But he was talking about mistakes. So how I kind of got into marketing, ain't no kind of, I got into marketing. I went to broadcast school, and then you had to get an internship. I went to broadcast school so I could be on air. When I went, you couldn't tell me I wasn't finna be the next radio personality that was around the world and everybody knew. But when I got to the radio station, they was like, sorry, sir, no availability in that department. If you'd like to try this marketing thing, we have some availability there. Marketing, had never heard of it a day in my life, but she said, I'm in. End up turning that internship into a job 3 months later, and then 3 years I end up being the marketing promotions guy for Clear Channel, which had 7 stations. So just saying, mistakes. So sometimes the mistakes can lead you somewhere where you didn't even know, and that was in 2006. And now we're in 2020, and I'm the marketing.
Mistakes
and brand
can lead
guy.
to magnificence.
Yeah, there you go. Mistakes.
The double
Yeah,
M.
I like that.
The double
We
M,
had to
baby.
work the shirt. We had to make
Yeah.
a shirt like that.
Put
Mistakes
that on
can-
the shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mistakes can lead to magnificence. There we go. See how that happens? Mistake.
Real quick.
It was. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to see what Dietrich. It seems like she's looking up for something to give us some stats. We
I
messed up.
I wasn't looking up stats. I was feeling everything that was being said.
But no, in all seriousness though, but what this podcast is about is going to be a lot of like us just giving our random thoughts that we feel like provide value to people. It's going to be a lot of us just saying random stuff because, well, I'm weird and I embrace the shit. They weird as hell. I don't know if they embrace it.
Oh, I definitely embrace my weird. And I embrace my weird because I figured out that my weird was connected to my pocket. So, me being able to think out the box, me being able to be in a room and look at the opposite of what another individual looks at, it helps me be able to build my wealth. So, there's a Bible verse that says that your creativity will make room for you. And my weirdness is part of who I am spiritually, and I embrace it. I embrace it, and I tell you to embrace your weirdness.
And I am who I am.
That's what God said.
I am that
He
I
says I am that I am, but I'm not. I am not the great I am. But I am definitely who I am.
Yeah. I'm not here to live up to your expectations.
Not at all.
Neither are you here to live up to mine.
Ain't it,
Come on.
man? Ain't it, man?
Put it on the shirt.
Put it on the shirt.
That's gonna be the new quote. Put
Put it on the shirt.
Everything
Put
we
it on the
say.
shirt.
So yeah, I mean, if anybody just watching, you have
I wanna know,
anything that
is
y'all,
anybody saying anything?
probably not even nobody watching right now.
Who we
Well,
got?
I ain't gonna lie. Watching or not watching, leave comments, like, subscribe,
Share.
and share
All the good stuff.
everything what it is. And if you feel like we talking stupid, tell us.
Tell us.
If
We
you
don't
feel
care.
if you feel like we talking knowledge, tell us. We want to hear your point of view. If you have something to add to what we said, or if you feel like something that we said wasn't politically correct, let us know.
Or even accurate for that fact of the matter. You feel like we said something that's wrong, I mean, don't be afraid to challenge them, because to me, I believe iron sharpens iron. Sometimes we need to be told that we're wrong so that we research, even if we are right. You know what I mean? It just make us know that we're right. So
Yes.
I'm not afraid of being challenged, and I don't think none of my co-hosts in this podcast thing
We
feel the
not.
same.
We
So,
know.
I want to let the ignorant and the fearful be. And I'm just put that right
ignorant and fearful be. So, I wanted to kind of really steal, because the discussion was actually a little bit more disgusting about housing. That was the $200. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So you were saying that if you had the $200, you would put it aside towards your investment towards buying a house. Would you care to expand to people?
Well, I was using a house as
Because it's
just-
a good idea.
Yeah, I'm
That's
just
what
saying I was
saying.
using the house as part of something that's a little more valuable to me than going on a trip. You know what I'm saying? So like that's just me. So at the end of the day, I would rather take that $200 and make that $200 be part of my $10,000 that I'm trying to purchase something that I'm going to pass down to my kids, or purchase something that I'm going to leave here when I pass, or something that I can give to one of my grandchildren, and so forth and so on. $200 is like, if I don't have, okay, let me say it like this. This is going to sound a little, but this is real.
This is great. 'cause
I believe that if you do not possess certain things, you do not deserve to do certain things.
Expound.
So, for instance, if you don't have a home, if you don't have a place to call your own, or you don't have the value that thereof, you don't deserve to travel abroad. I know, yeah, yeah.
Do you agree? Do you agree? So I actually had a poll question. I think he just actually created another poll question. So the poll question, I'm gonna remember this, is that if you do not own a home, or the value
Of owning a home, or have your things in place
Place.
where you can acquire such things, you don't deserve to travel abroad or spend those amounts of money going to visit or being on those particular things when you haven't built the smallest of foundation for your generation or your generations to come.
there you go. So I want to know, do you agree with
Love
that
your
one?
legacy.
I like that. That's another.
Put it on the
Put it
shirt.
on the shirt.
Love your legacy.
But yeah, do you agree with that? And the other poll question I was gonna come up with, because we was talking about 200. I want to know where you are that's watching this. You got $200. You want them new pair of Jordans? You want your trip to Paris? Or you want to start investing into your future home, or whatever it is, like investing into your generational wealth, should I say? So
I like that question. I like that question. I would like to know what other people think.
What's his question?
PJ's question.
oh, it was
Like, what's more important to you?
what's up?
Would it be to take the trip? Would it be to invest in a home? Would it be to go and grab them Jordans? What is it?
And there's no judgment. We don't know. I mean, everybody got. For me, everybody live by their own. Long as it's under a righteous act. So let me say that. Do your thing, but be righteous in your acts. So I'm about that. But if it's under a righteous order, do whatever it is you believe without judgment. So there's no judgment zone. We just want to know what you think because
Yeah.
everybody feels different.
And I also believe that it's your responsibility, especially as a African American male, to leave a legacy. I was just reading, I think it was day before yesterday
Actually,
or something like that. Snoop Dogg is worth $134 million. I'm gonna say that once again. Snoop Dogg is worth $134 million. He don't have a will. Now that don't set right with me. If you're worth $134 million and you have as many children as he has, you have a wife, which I heard they were supposed to be going through a divorce, but you have a wife.
She been sticking it out.
Yeah, the long haul. You have a wife, you have children, you have loved ones, you have brothers and sisters. Calvin, that's not right. That's not right. And I know you might not be watching this, but I want y'all to know Calvin is wrong. He needs to write out a will. He needs
Calvin
to put
Brooks.
that money into a
Salute.
trust. He needs to make sure that anyone. Somebody said to me one time when I was in jail, and I know this is gonna sound a little crazy, but one of the brothers told me that I need to be hustling for my last name instead of my first name, and it boiled over on. I had a life-changing experience in jail. I didn't have to travel abroad.
But that's the same thing.
A
Like
different
Cuz said,
culture.
It's just a different. It's just a different path.
different
Okay,
culture.
I feel you, but I'm just saying you can experience a different culture or have a
I
life-changing
experienced that
experience.
culture 5 years in a row. It didn't change me like I'll tell you that.
So Byra asked the question: do you think if you don't have the foundation, do you deserve to travel? Somebody said yes. You have one person on here that said yes.
Yes. That if you
Yes.
don't have the foundation that you deserve
Yes,
to
you
travel.
deserve to
Why?
travel.
I want to
wanna
know
know
why.
why.
Tell me.
Melvin Hines.
Melvin Hayes,
Hey,
curfew.
yeah.
Yes.
He,
Tell us why
he said
curfew.
yes. He's off of here now.
Oh, I want to know why.
You give people a
I think so.
For some 24 hours. And I mean,
I
again,
think
going on
that
IGTV,
it's an
yeah,
experience
for sure.
because being 100% honest, even with what my husband said, what I didn't say and what I didn't expound on is that when I had the opportunity and the blessing to travel to Europe, to Spain, to live for 4 months, I was homeless. I had no place to live. Don't frown at me.
I mean,
I'm not done.
What you saying is
I
dope.
had
but
no place
you
to
gotta,
live.
You gotta
I'm not done.
Tell the whole story.
I'm not done.
Tell the whole story.
The whole story is that I was beginning the journey to walk in my purpose.
Exactly.
And what it was
See,
that I
that's
was
the
saying
part.
before,
That's the part that
but
you missing.
no, that's not the part that I'm missing because I'm saying what I'm saying because even the travel may be in the lineup for somebody to be able to walk into their purpose, to understand why they were put
That's
here.
different.
So I'm saying what I'm saying, and I be 100%
different.
again transparent in my words and in my dealings because I understand that some words that may come from my mouth may heal somebody else. But I was able to travel. 1, I was homeless. Let's start there. 2, I went overseas and I traveled first class. Okay, this homeless woman with 2 kids went to Europe first class.
Your story is different.
Stop playing with me.
Your story is
You
different.
can't tell me
let's-
what's for you
let's-
ain't for you.
let's break this
I
down.
had nothing.
Let's break this
and
down.
when I got back to the United
Let's break
States,
this down.
I had
Let's
nothing.
break this down.
I got back here.
Let's break this
I didn't
down.
have nowhere to go.
Let's
I went
break
over
this
to a
down.
relative's house who shall remain nameless, and they put me out of their house.
Let's break this down.
When I got back to the States, baby,
Let's break
this
this
is
down.
a story, honey. I ain't
This is-
ashamed about this right here. Let me
This is a
tell
complete
you.
elephant.
But you
So
saying
check it out. First
if
of
you
all,
ain't got
first-
it,
first-
you shouldn't do it.
Okay, so first of all, here it is. We're not speaking of What you're speaking of.
You saying this that I'm a rare case or something. I'm not a rare
you're
case.
not a rare case, but let's break this down. So here we go. Why did you go overseas?
I went overseas because I believe
No. Let's not talk about what you believe. Hell with that.
it ain't to
Why
hell with it.
did you go? Oh, what was the reason for you
The sole reason,
to uproot
not
and go overseas?
not the deep reason, but the surface reason.
Well, yes.
The surface reason was to cook
Why?
because I cook.
Okay.
Because I'm a chef.
So you went to study abroad, meaning that you
I
had
ain't studied nothing. I
you,
started working.
you had an educational reason to go to another country to live, study their culture, cook, and come back home with that experience to expound on your cooking creativity, which made room for you. Is this a yes or
That
no?
was too many words.
Oh, come on. Don't do me. Don't do me.
I,
I'm talking about the average boo-boo the fool that just got $6,000 or $10,000 for their taxes, and then you just gonna take $200 and get on a plane.
and it may be in their purpose for them to do that.
Yeah, see,
There might be
talking-
something there. There
you
might
talking
be
two,
a
you talking
reason.
two different things, man.
Well,
You're talking two different things.
for me, I don't know what's gonna. I'm saying go and experience something different than
When you went
done.
overseas, why you
Then the block, and then go smoke some hash. If you a weed
But I
smoker,
went because
like for real, stop
at that
smoking
time
the
I had
backwoods.
embraced Rastafari.
Okay.
Because I know it's the point you said.
Mhm.
I had embraced Rastafari
Mhm.
and the roots of Rastafari is
Mhm.
in Jamaica.
And
So me couldn't. I felt like I'm not being true to what it is, the spirituality that I'm living, unless I go discover the roots and speak to the people that was there from
Mhm.
the roots. So
Mhm.
that was the spiritual person.
so you went for a religious reason.
Not
spiritual
religious,
reason.
spiritual.
Spiritual connection.
Now that was the reason that he went.
Right.
That wasn't the reason that I went, but I found some of that over there.
But see, that's what I'm saying. You trying to take a much deeper reason for moving around and attach it to a reason that has nothing connected to it whatsoever.
Well,
So
Say it pleasant.
for me to just decide tomorrow, hell, I'm gonna go to London.
that's
Come
me.
on.
But why not?
But listen what I'm
And
saying.
you got
Listen
a
what I'm
wife
saying.
that's gonna
Listen
be
what I'm
like,
saying,
let's
bro.
go.
Me making the decision to just get up and go to London has nothing to do with me building my financial wealth, me taking care of my legacy, or even taking care of myself. So what I'm saying is,
But how not though?
listen what I'm saying. What I'm saying is y'all speaking of an experience. I'm saying you should experience that. But you have a responsibility to your legacy before you leave here, that I feel that if you have not accomplished certain things, you don't deserve to do certain.
But what
Now, you
about
know
if you
what's
waiting
crazy
for
is
this
that-
legacy that you building for all your life and you never get a chance to see it because you waiting and then you die?
What you waiting
Or-
on? What
or-
you mean wait? You always build it.
But I'm saying, but
What
you
about
waiting for
this-
the perfect time when your empire is where you said it needs to be for you.
How long it take
And then
you?
you miss
how
out
long
on
it take-
everything else.
how
You
long-
miss out on life
Okay,
because
so
you're
let me
doing
ask
all
you
of
a
that.
question. So let me
Not
ask
to
you a question.
mention weight.
So let me ask this question: how long does it take to save money for a house?
I don't know.
No, I'm.
I
mean, no. Don't
I
tell
don't-
me you don't know.
I don't
tell
believe-
me what you think in your head.
What I'm
I
saying
believe
is,
in my
I'm-
head
tell
that
me
I
what
could
you
set
think
up
in
a
your head.
number.
And I don't own a home.
Tell me what you think in your head.
Well,
I'm 40 and I don't own.
That
a
don't-
home.
I got an
that don't have
answer.
nothing to do
I
with
got
my
an
question.
answer. In the lifestyle that
That don't
I
have
live,
nothing to
in
do
the
with my
lifestyle
question.
that
How
I
long?
live
I
right
mean,
now,
so-
being
How
a
long do you
business
think it
owner,
takes to
if I
save
know what
money
it
for a
is
home?
that I'm trying to get, then I create an
mean,
income to be able to purchase
I
the
feel
house
like
that I'm trying to
answering your
get, and I
question
set up a
because
budget
it
and
could
be
take-
able to
it
come
could
up with
take
it.
Each person individual.
So what do
a
you
different
think?
amount
Tell
of
me what you
time.
think. How long do you think it takes?
It could take 40 years because I'm
It
40
could
and I
take
don't
40
own-
years.
and
How
I
long
don't
you think
own
it
a
takes
home.
to
I
save
just
money for a home?
said what I thought. I said, because of who I am, you can roll your eyes. Because of who I am and where I am right now in my life, an entrepreneur. If I decide that, hey, I want to buy a home, I'm going to go and see what that home is, Then I'm gonna go and try to generate an income, whatever it is that I need to generate, do whatever it is that I need
Talking
to do.
apples
Cook,
and oranges, man.
Cook, do some nails, whatever I need to
This
do.
is
This
apples
money
and
right
oranges,
here.
though.
This money right here for the how is
This
that
is apples and
That's
oranges.
the
You
apples
talk
and oranges.
because you're speaking of the mindset that you're in right now. You are totally enlightened and your eyes are open. You're woke. That's different.
I mean,
A woke person and a sleep person has two different
Well,
avenues of
I'm
thought.
but even a sleep person going somewhere that they haven't been can gain something that will
Something.
change it
True,
around.
But I think
but if you can gain something that'll change it all around, how long does it take you to save money for a house?
It depends on who you are.
How much money do you think? How much money do you think a person needs to buy a house?
You need at
So-
least
How much
10,000.
money do y'all think a
How
person
much?
needs to
10,000
buy a
dollars.
house?
10,000 or more. How much money do you think a person needs to buy a house?
No money.
They
Okay,
got
you need at
super
least a 5% down payment.
exactly.
No money.
At least a 5% down payment.
No money.
And not
Ask me
not
how I
only
know.
not only do you need at least a 5% down payment.
Realistically.
Well,
Ask me how I know.
realistically, what she's saying is real. That's
Huh.
because her eyes are open. It's different. It's a whole nother way of thinking. So you can't take an open-eyed person's analogy and put it with a closed-eyed person analogy because it's going to sound like an elephant trying to talk to a turtle.
like me saying 10,000 because I never owned a home.
So
I was gonna
$10,000
say 5%.
actually is adequate though. So what I'm saying is, why can't you have 10,000 in there before you travel abroad? Why can't you have 10,000 saved up?
Because maybe it's taking me a long ass time to save that 10,000, and I don't want to die saying I done sat in the same place doing the same damn thing.
Why
every
would it
damn
take you
day.
that long to save 10,000?
You just don't know. But this is my thing. You talking about a legacy and traveling. One thing that I have as far as the legacy and traveling, I know that as parents, you set a path for your kids. And I have
You
kids.
can't set a path for it.
I have kids, and I feel that
you
because
can
of
want
where
them
I
to live a certain type of way.
That's
and
not
they're
what
gonna
I'm
choose
saying.
their
That's
own.
not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is because I've done some things in my life, it allows my children to know, well, my mom did this, so I know that it's possible, so I can do this. Versus,
That ain't
it just-
always.
I believe
But
that
I
I
understand
believe
where
that
that
there's some
terminology
truth in
come
it.
from.
I don't believe that, and I believe that that's a way that you sort of kind of can twist or turn
Most times
part
your
of the
kids look at you like
impoverished mentality.
you a person that's different from the whole world. Like you not the average individual.
Do my kids think I'm different from the whole world?
I guarantee you they do. And they'll tell you in some of the instances, some of the things that you did, they'd be like, that was you. That's not what the whole world is doing, Mom. That was you. Your case is different. My sons tell me that all the
They
time.
think I'm a superhero, though.
You definitely think your parents are superheroes.
I don't know about that.
They do.
No, like no, at a young age, you really think that your parents can do
I'm
so
talking
much.
I'm talking about these young adult children.
I think
I
that
was
my
gonna call
kids.
them a name, bro.
I think
These
that my
young adult
kids still
children
think
that I
that I'm
have
a
right now.
superhero. They are all young adults, and I believe that they all still think that I'm sort of kind of superhero. Yeah,
But y'all still make a way out of nowhere though.
all the time. But we don't
Byron,
make
you-
we don't
Byron-
make a way out of no way.
Well, I'm not saying necessarily
We gotta
you.
provide her.
Okay, definitely, but I feel like
Wait a minute, why is the person behind the camera talking?
Because she could talk.
Oh, you know, I should have.
I'm just messing with you, man. I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing.
The camera's still on.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You said what?
No, I was just saying, like, I know, like, you know, everybody, like, God is our provider and stuff, but I just definitely feel like at a certain age, you be like, man, this is happening. I'm finna call my mama, or I'm finna call my dad, because I know I do. I
And
be
they
like,
make a way.
Mom,
They
this
make a
X,
way.
Y, and Z is going on. What should I do? Or she makes a way.
And it's like, if for whatever reason, it do seem like the parent always has
they
it.
always have an answer, or they always know
That's your parents' job.
what to do. But not everybody has that luxury.
Well, I
now.
Right.
get what she's
So that's
saying.
why when you say if the kids look at it like, you know, you always making a way and stuff. That's how we view it.
I got you.
Get it?
I
'Cause
understand
my
what you're
daughter 22 and she's really independent. But the other day, I mean, when she really needs something, she literally comes and say, "Hey, I need it." It throws me for a loop sometimes because she's so independent. But I
Yeah.
guess that's where it comes from. You feel like your parents are always there.
True.
Yeah.
True. And I tell my kids all the time, especially my sons, like I would prefer for them to go through things, and then me be able to try to help them fix whatever problems they have instead of me being dead and gone, and then them going through things and I not be able to give them my insight. Because at some point when I explain things to them, I'm thinking that a light is gonna come on, and then when I'm not here, that voice will turn them into, let me start thinking this way. Let me become the person with the answers. Well, my dad did this, or my dad had these particular resources.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to get those as well. So, in hopes, we hope that our children do that.
But,
You know what I'm saying?
Again, Black Wealth Matters. We can only set it forth. Like, you can only set forth the information.
But
like,
the
as they
parents
say,
have to be open and transparent.
Yeah,
We have to
but
be.
you know what parents get a bum rap?
What you mean by bum rap?
I'm just saying a bum rap where it's not a reality. Parents are people too. Parents have issues, just like children have issues.
But see, we don't realize that until
Exactly.
we are.
Exactly. Like at this age right now, you know what I'm saying? I'm in my 40s and I see my parents clear as day. And it's funny as hell. Like, it is hilarious. You know what I'm saying? But then sometimes I have a wow moment and I feel like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was feeling this way, and actually my parent had this issue where they couldn't really do what it is that I felt like they should have came and swooped in and saved me. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Not as to expose nothing, but
No, I understand.
just one of those situations where you feel like, well, why my dad didn't do this, or why my mom didn't do this,
But-
and then you find out that they are dysfunctional in that particular area.
Exactly.
Or,
That's what I was just about to say.
That's what I was
because
saying.
I had to come to, like, when I was starting this entrepreneurial journey in 2009, and I'm talking to my parents about certain things. I'm wondering why they not rallying behind me. Why?
because you're doing things that they've never done
Exactly.
before, and
Exactly.
they looking at you like you're an
Exactly.
alien.
Right.
Yeah, they
Exactly.
are.
And so I'm saying that
Say-
for the young man or young lady that getting that type of stuff, that type of energy from your parents, it might not be because people say, "Oh man, why my mama don't want me?" It might not be because she don't want you to succeed.
understand.
She just don't know. So it's like it's something new to her, and if she and they're gonna think so. If,
People fear what they don't understand.
exactly.
Yes.
The fearful. That was exactly what
People fear what they don't understand, and
Lack of knowledge
a
brings fear.
child's love and a parent's love is two completely different types of love. A parent loves a child in a way that a child can never love a parent. And you're going to always want them to be as safe as they possibly can. You never want them to nick their head. You never want them to prick their feet. You never want them to feel any pain. But all of those pains, nicks, and bruises are actually lessons in life.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a
So
lesson.
sometimes you got to stand back and let them get whopped upside the head a few times.
True.
And then say, oh, they hit you? Oh, man, don't duck next time.
Yeah. True.
You know? So,
So I mean, there we are. I think this discussion of today just about wraps up this episode of Black Wealth Matters podcast, episode number. Everybody throw it one.
uno!
Number one.
Don't you speak no other language.
It's
Don't you even speak a foreign language.
right, yeah. Not today, right? On the next episode, right? Not today. He'll be at you with episode number dos. Thanks for tuning in. Again, my name's PJ.
D.
I'm bang, bang, bang.
All right, catch y'all tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel.